So since a lot of us didn't have this already, I'm going to read each problem to you and then you can answer it along with me, okay? So remember, this first page is graded. It's on your own. So I can't give you the answers. We can't share the answers, but I can read it to you. Eden, I am not assigning iReady this week. We're going to take an iReady break this week. We're going to take a break from it. So you will have AR, you will have vocabulary, and you will have a social studies lesson on autism. Okay, going to bed. Okay, have a good night. See you later. My guard dog is here. You guys see my guard dog? Where is he? Cheese. There yet. He's ready. He's ready to learn some math with you guys. Come on, Cheese. Are you ready to learn some math? He's ready. He's like, let's do it. Rounding, we got this. He's like, I can't write because I have paws and no thumbs, but he's going to do his best. He's going to tell me his answers and I'll write them for him. That's how we roll. Oh man, my camera. There we go. All right, here we go. So Marcy played outside for 30 minutes after school. Then she watched TV for 25 minutes after school. How many minutes did Marcy spend playing outside and watching TV? Yes, Eden, that is the dog that was homeless. And we gave him a home and we're fattening him up. He's a good pup. So 30 minutes she played outside, TV for 25 minutes. How many did she spend outside and watching TV? So we are adding. And means adding. Okay. And these next two problems, you need to write the standard form, the number. 900s, 2 10s, and 4 1s. 200s, 7 10s, and 0 1s. Just kind of like we worked on yesterday with place value. Oh, Sharon, that's okay if you get kicked out. Thanks for rejoining. Sometimes I get kicked out too, and as long as you rejoin, you're good to go. No, Mia, he didn't have a home, and he was really, really skinny and really sick. He's gonna be an expensive puppy. We've already spent, I think, $100 on his vet bill. His next vet appointment is gonna cost $200 because he has some heart issues and some hip problems. And he's really thin, so he has to be on a special diet. So his dog food is pretty expensive. So we are taking care of him, and my kids got their way to keep him. He's about 1.5 years old, Eden, so he's still pretty young. Yeah, he's pretty young, but he just didn't have an easy 1.5 years of his life. So now we got to help him.
My dog is younger. She's like months.
Oh yeah. This is our 4th dog. We have 4 dogs now and 3 cats. We have a zoo. Go ahead, Rodolfo.
How do you know what Mrs. Hyde's email is?
Yes, I will send it to you in the chat. Absolutely. There you go. I just sent it in the chat, Rodolfo, a private chat to you. All right, our next one is about time. Just like yesterday, we need to show these times on the clock. So we're going to show 12:15 and 6:45. Remember, you can either use the arrows and the shapes, or you can use your marker tool. Thanks, Mia. Decided to do something fun with my hair today. I'm do my braids. Looks like Anna's here. Yeah. I identify as Anna because she is awkward and super fun, and she is my favorite. Love Anna. These last 5 problems are just your fact practice with addition and subtraction. I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes to finish these problems, and then go ahead and click to page 2 when you're done, but please do not start yet. We're going to work on it together. Elsa's your favorite, yeah. Elsa is Charlotte's favorite too. Charlotte has super blonde hair like Elsa, like really, really light. So she loves Elsa. And I'm like, Elsa was kind of mean the whole first movie. She was not a great character. But Charlotte goes, no, Queen Elsa is so beautiful. I'm like, all right, fine. Okay, Queen Elsa.
It wasn't her intention.
That is true. It was not her intention. She was just scared.
Oh, and she didn't want Anna to get froze.
Yes, that is a good point. Ethan's like, hold up, before you attack my girl Elsa, I gotta back her up. I feel it. I got you. You're true. That is true. It was not her intention. I agree with that. Yes. Elsa's just not my favorite, but I love Anna. Anna cracks me up. Go ahead, Eden.
In second grade, I got to watch it.
We went
The second movie.
the second one. We went to the movie theater for the second one. That was Charlotte's first movie in the theater. And she went insane. She was like, ah! It was awesome. All right, let's go on to page 2. So if you're not quite finished with page 1 yet, that's okay. You can come back to it at the very end and finish it up. No worries.
Like, you know how when we have school and like when we go to like the museum?
Oh, like the field trips?
Yeah, field trip.
Yeah. All righty. Okie dokie. So let's look at this lesson. So yesterday, remember, we rounded to the nearest tens, and it was kind of tricky for us. Took lots of practice. Today, we are going to round to the nearest 100, which to me is easier than rounding to tens, but that's just me. You might think it's easier. You might think it's harder. So we're going to practice today by looking at place value cubes, looking at number lines, and figuring out which number it's closest to. Remember, rounding is all about finding an easy number. I like easy math. I want it to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy, make some lemonade and go outside. I want the easiest math possible. Well, a way to do that is by rounding. Rounding is all about finding those easy numbers. So let's look at our example. It says that there are 127 crayons in a bin. What is 127 rounded to the nearest 100? They show us 100, 20, and 7 for 127. We know that 127 has to be between 100 and 200, right? Because it's more than 100, but it's less than 200. So then I need to think, what is the halfway number? What's halfway between 100 and 200? Well, if I had 100, 110, 20, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. 50 is halfway, 150. So if this is less than 150, I know it will be closer to 100 than to 200. So that means that 127 rounded to the nearest 100 will be 100. It is much closer to 100 than it is to 200. All right. So now let's start in our first problem. It says the number 684 is between which two hundreds? Just like we did yesterday with tens. Circle the 200s on the number line. This is a part a lot of us missed on our worksheet. So let's look at it really closely together. 684, is it more than 200? Yes, much more. More than 300? Yes. More than 400? More than 500? More than 600? More than 700? No. So it's not more than 700, but it is more than 600. Go ahead and circle those two. Yes, Sharon, 600 to 700. Very good. So I know it's between 600 and 700, right? So now, what's halfway between those two numbers? What's halfway between 600 and 700? Eden? Go ahead. Oh.
650.
Yes, 650. 50 is half of 100. So between 600 and 700 would be 650. Whoops. Oh man, what's happening here? That would be halfway. Half of 100 is 50, right? Like half of a dollar. The dollar is 100 coins, 100 pennies. So halfway would be 650. Emiliano, it's really hard to type this on your worksheet when you're under a blanket, babe. This is school time. So I need you to sit up and let's focus. Thank you. And I have half of us with our cameras off still. I need cameras on, please. Thank you. What is 684 rounded to the nearest hundred? So 684, is that more or less than 650? Show me in your camera, more or less. Is 684 more or less than 650? Show me more, less. Good job. It is more, absolutely. Since it is more than the halfway number, it's going to round up. It's going to be closer to 700 because it's only like 15 away. And it would be 84 away from 600. That's a lot farther. I'm looking for the closest easy number. What about 694? Is that more or less than our halfway number? 694, is that more or less? I see it from a couple of us. Come on, you guys, let's wake up. 694, more or less than 650? Much better, good job. Yes, it is more, so we will round to 700. It's gonna go up to the next 100. Good job. What about 674? Is that more or less than halfway? 674, more or less than 650? What do you guys think? Show me. More or less. You can type it in the chat. You can show me in your camera, but I need to see it. Good job. It is more. And Ignacio, I need to see this on your paper too, because I've noticed, buddy, you're turning this in like after, like way after at night, which is fine, but I want you to do this during the meeting with us so I can make sure it's your work. Okay. Thank you. Oh, you've got it in a notebook? Perfect. That's awesome. All right. Yes, you are all correct. Good job. It is more than the halfway number. So we'll round up to 700. Excellent. All right. What about this next one? 624. More or less than 650? 624. More or less than 650? Yes, good. It is less, absolutely. So it's going to go down to 600. Very good. Hi, Lupita. I'm glad you're here, but my dear, you are half an hour late again. You're going to have to rejoin me at 11 for math, okay? You've got to show up on time, babe. Okay. Thumbs up when you are ready for page 3. Ready for page 3? Give me a thumbs up. You can also use the check mark or the thumbs up action on your Zoom. That works too. Awesome. All right, let's move on. Oh, Rodolfo, you're not quite there yet? Okay, I'm gonna leave it up for one more minute. Christian, did you need it too? Or are you good to go? Good to go? Cool, 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 cool. Leave this up for one more minute. I think some of us are still writing some things down. Leave up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, page 3, here we go. This is your time to shine, my friends. This is your chance to answer these questions. Question 7, woo buddy, we got lots of steps again. We're going to answer these questions to round 377 to the nearest hundred. The number 377 is between which two hundreds? So just like yesterday, I'm gonna draw a number line. Whoop. You can draw a number line and you can show me where would it start and where would it end, the 200s. Or you can also draw place value blocks. Go ahead, Rodolfo.
How did you make that line?
Great question. I will show you. And yes, Mia, you do have to draw the number line. If you go to right here, you click the 3 dots on Seesaw. Oops, let me show you again right here. The 3 dots. Click it and then click shapes. And there's a line. And then once you get this line, you can make it bigger or smaller. You can also use place value blocks the same way. I can say I've got 1, 2, 3 hundreds. This is 1, 2, 3 hundreds. Remember, hundreds are the big squares. I've got 7 sticks. Oh, wait. Whoa, you guys. Oh my gosh, look, they give us place value blocks. Mind blown. I'm really excited. Okay. This is pretty cool. What? All right, click shapes and scroll down. Holy cannoli guacamole. Super stoked, teacher, right now. 1, 2, 3 hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. Yay. So excited. So then you can also use, whoops, that wasn't supposed to get bigger. Why did that get bigger? Ah. I'm not sure why it's doing this. I don't know what's happening. All right. So you can choose either to do the place value blocks or the number line. Your choice. You do not have to show both, but you do have to show a way of representing that number. So if you want to put place value blocks on here like this, you may. If you want to do the number line, you can. You do not have to do both. What's making them all bigger? That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Weird. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Kind of did a little backwards. That's okay. So you can either do the number line or you can show them place value blocks. But even with both of these, you can tell it is more than 300. But what would my next 100 be? What would this 100 be? Go ahead and write it on your paper. Remember, this is your independent activity. So you can either show the number line or the place value blocks, your choice, but you have to show one of them. You do not have to show both. You can do this one or this one, because this one too, you can see it has more than 300. But if I were to add some tens to it, what would the next 100 be? Yes, Devaney, you have to do all of the questions. So then after you figured out the 200s, that it's between 300 and what other 100, which number would be halfway? What would the halfway number be? Then is it 377 less or greater than that halfway number? So would you round up or down? And what is it rounded to the nearest 100? So I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes to finish these first parts. Whoops. So to finish number 7, that's parts A, B, C, D, and E on your own. Go ahead. When you are done, you may start looking at number 8. Remember, you are graded on this page. This page is a grade. My baby. What are you doing? You want to draw? Okay. Do we do 8 and 9? Yes, you may begin on 8 and 9 if you finish number 7. 8 and 9 are a little bit easier. 8, you are just rounding these two numbers to the nearest 100. So you don't have to do all of the steps, you're just rounding it. And number 9, solve a riddle. The numbers between 500 and 600. The number is greater than the halfway number. It will round up to round this number to the nearest 100. So greater than halfway, it'll round up. It's between 500 and 600. What is the number? Circle the correct answer. And then number 10, what is 999 rounded to the nearest 100? So those ones down there are a little bit easier. Oops, I don't want to zoom out too much. So go ahead and complete the page. I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes to finish this page, and then we're going to move on to page 4. 4 minutes to finish this page. 4 minutes to finish this page. That means that when we are done today, the expectation is that you are pressing the green check mark and turning it in. Awesome, Rodolfo. I know she's really quick at getting back to things. All right, boys and girls, 2 more minutes to finish this page. Ethan, go ahead and hang tight on that activity. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. So I posted it a couple days early so you guys could take a look at that autism activity, but don't turn it in today. We're going to talk about it tomorrow during our morning meeting, and then you guys will be able to complete it after that.
Mommy, look at this thing.
What did you do?
I know.
You don't know. What is it?
It's Megatron.
Can I see?
Okay,
Where did you get this?
I know. Fun.
What do you mean you don't know? Is this from mommy's diamond art stuff?
No.
Sure. You know that that's not yours.
Mommy, you know, mommy.
Babe, you gotta leave mama's stuff alone, okay? If you're gonna hang out in here, you gotta be nice to mommy's things. Okay. Okay. Here. Which one? Which one? Charlotte? Yeah. Harrison's at school. He goes half day in the morning. Charlotte's home with me until daycare has a spot for her. I'm like, please open up a spot for Charlotte. All right, let's move to page 4. So now we have practiced rounding tens. We practiced rounding hundreds. Today we are going to practice rounding both of them. So for these solved problems, we're going to go through them step by step. But these are ones that you should know how to do by now. Remember, rounding to tens and hundreds is review because we've already learned it earlier this year. But this right now, we've relearned tens, we've relearned hundreds. And on these 2 pages, we are going to practice those. So again, I'm going to read them to you, but the answers are going to be all you. And remember, this is graded. A science museum is 73 exhibits. What is 73 rounded to the nearest 100? And look at our little moose friend. He gives us a hint. Is 73 closer to 0 or 100? Lupita, the chat is for questions and answers only. And you need to have your camera on, and I expect to see you working. Ethan, close your My On tab for right now, please, and let's work on this page. Thank you. So is 73 closer to 0 or 100? Charlotte. Hey, look at me. Look at mama. If you're gonna play with the coins, you gotta be quiet. Thank you. Question 2. Do halfway numbers round up or down? Which two numbers rounded to the nearest 100 both round to 400? Go ahead, Ethan.
I already did all of it.
Okay, but I still want you to have it open. That way, when I read it to you, maybe you'll be like, oh, I read that wrong, and then go in. So which ones both round to 400? 349 and 350, 449 and 450, 350 and 351, 450 and 451. Which ones both round? And then it says Hans chose A as the correct answer. Is that correct? It says how could he get the answer, but I would rather us answer is that correct and why? Because how could he get that answer? That question doesn't make sense to me. But is he correct? So if he chooses A, 349 and 350 both round to 400, is that correct and why? Yes, because they are both very close to 400. No, because one of them would round to what number? Or both of them would round to what number? Do we write that? You don't have to write, is it correct? I'm already going to send it to your teacher. So you don't have to write, is that correct and why? You just have to say yes, because, no, because. So yes or no, because. Yes or no, choose one, and then why. Go ahead and type done in the chat when you're done with this page. That way I know we're ready to move on to the next page. Go ahead, Lupita.
Yesterday you said that in reading we're gonna finish page 3, 4, and 5 because yesterday we didn't finish the reading.
Yes, we are doing that today. All right. I'm going to leave this up for another minute or two. All right, Lupita, I'm going to ask you to leave the meeting if you keep using the chat to talk about things for birthdays. You can talk about those things outside of class time, but just like in class, you guys wouldn't raise your hand and go, oh, hey, are you getting this? That's not what class time is for. You guys can talk about that in your off time. Especially since you're hybrid learners, you will see each other at school on Thursday. This is your second warning, Lupita, and you showed up half an hour late. You're not going to use the last hour of our class time to talk about different things. One more and you're getting kicked out of the meeting, and I will let Ms. Alvarez know to call your mom. Thank you. All right, let's look at page 5. Which numbers, when rounded to the nearest hundred, round to 100? Circle all that are correct. That means more than one of these will be correct. It's not just one of them. So don't look at the first one and go, oh, that's it, and move on. Circle all of them that are correct. There will be more than one that round to 100. 149, 49, 75, 162. Which one rounds to 100? Which one is close to 100? Closer to 100 than it is to 0. Number 5, according to one science museum, the world's tallest man was 8 feet 11 inches tall. Holy cow. That's 107 inches. His weight was 490 pounds. What is 107 rounded to the nearest 100? What is 490 rounded to the nearest 100? Go ahead and answer those two. Cameron read that an average American eats about 130 pounds of potatoes each year. I love potatoes. I probably eat double of that. What is number less than 130? That rounds to 130 when rounding to the nearest 10. Ooh, remember yesterday we talked about this. We had a number line. Chase, stop. And on my number line, I had 130 in the middle, the number that I want to round to. And it says to the nearest 10, so that would make this 120. And it would make this 10 more, which is 140. Now remember, if I count backwards, 129, 128, 127, 126, 125, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135. Yes, I would draw this number line, absolutely. Because then you're going to answer, what is the number greater than 130 that rounds to 130? And then what's 130 rounded to the nearest 100? So less than 130 that rounds to it, greater than 130 when it rounds to it, and what is 130 rounded to the nearest hundreds? 3 different parts with this problem. So remember, like we worked on yesterday, we're looking for numbers inside the bubble. Numbers inside this bubble. When you finish this question, please press the green check mark and turn it in. I'm going to leave this up for another minute and give you guys a 3-minute break. So that means we are going to start math at 9:56. Or I'm sorry, reading. We're going to start reading at 9:56. So at 9:56, we will start reading.